To get things started, this is a voiceover of my trading day on June 7th, 2023. This has been something I've been asked to do several times now by those who want to see how I go about using the reversal predator and what kind of setups I look for and just how I go about my basic trading day. This is not trading advice of any kind. I'm not suggesting to trade this way. This is just one of many ways to use the reversal predator. There are literally a million different ways to trade Renko style charts. Everyone is different. The reversal predator is a tool that can help enter and manage a pretty good chunk of different styles. We are constantly adding more and more features to help out as many people as possible. What I'm showing today is just what I would typically look for. Again, it does not mean this is the only way to use the predator. Full disclosure, this is an Apex eval account that I'm currently working on getting funded. They have dirt cheap data, especially when they have that 80% off sale. Some of the best payouts, and they're just generally easy to work with. I'm going to leave a coupon down below. I'll give you 50 to 80% off depending on what promos they're running at the time. Use it if you want. This video is not about selling prop firms, just trying to give out info on what I'm using today. Alright, so let's move on to how I typically use the reversal predator. Again, this is a tool to help you enter and manage Renko style trades. The first thing I like to do is set up a confirmation candle with a value of 1. This means that one candle in the same direction as my reversal candle has to close before the strategy enters. This just helps get a bit extra confirmation that the trade will go in my direction. The downside is obviously you get a bit worse fill. Next up are my order settings, and I may change these from time to time to try out different things. However, for the most part, I will always follow a similar setup. For the first order, I typically set it up for a quick profit. This will usually be half of my position. Mainly, my profit target will be set at the 1R target, or I might move it after and manually set it at the opposing zone. And we'll see what I mean once we get out of here. In most cases, I always set my stop at either the high or the low of the reversal candle. I don't typically trade using just ticks. I like to use the pivots, where the price has been and where the price can go. Next up, for my second order, I will usually set the same stop, but this one will have a trail stop of some sort to try and catch those bigger moves. I set a break even for this around the time my first target is hit. I don't want to turn a winner into a losing trade. Now, the trail I've been using lately is the high and the low with a period of 2. This means it's going to trail 2 candles back. I find this has been working pretty good at preventing fakeouts with this specific setup. I might change this to ATR or another type of trail at some point, but this is what I like right now. I sometimes also make a third position with about 1 contract or so. This will have a bigger trail stop like the parabolic SAR, and I use these to try and catch those to the moon runs. But lately, we've had quite a bit of consolidation. We are still trading within a range of the last few days. I don't trust to have a big move, so I'm not going to put that third order in this one. Lastly, one of the most important ones for me, I like to skip any trade around 8:30 a.m. Eastern. I see the price with these Renko charts can get crazy around this time. Sometimes it will literally print something like 50 candles at the exact same second. I want nothing to do with that. If you want to do the same, you will have to adjust these times to your local time zone. These are 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Again, set it to your own time zone if that's something you want to do as well. Other than that, make sure you select the correct account. By default, it gets set to your Sim 101 account. So if you don't see a profit and a stop loss generated when you enter a trade, it's most likely because it's set to the wrong account. All right, now let's go to the charts and make sure you enable the strategy. So the main thing I look for are supply and demand zones. If you don't know what these are, they are basically just areas of high liquidity. The idea is to find where the big players are either selling off or where they start accumulating and buying. The theory behind these zones is that these big players have orders set at these levels. Whether they're visible to us or not, they seem to have orders waiting at these levels in order to either maximize their profit or maximize their position at a good entry. Us little guys with normal accounts aren't typically trading with enough funds to make any sort of real impact on the market. So all we're trying to do is identify these levels and ride this wave created by the whales. Aside from supply and demand, I sometimes trade these M patterns as well that create, I guess, mini intraday supply and demand zones as well. Once a bar closes above any zone, I will cancel the trade and delete the zone. Here in this little zone, I'm waiting for a reversal candle to form. So I had a time limit on my screen recorder, but the price we were looking at for this M pattern went above the zone. So I delete the zone and it is no longer valid for me. Now we are entering a bigger supply zone. I'm waiting for a reversal candle to form here. And one more thing to note, I am waiting for a short position only. That is why I only have the short button enabled. If I'm between zones and I'm not looking to get into any trades, I will typically have both of these disabled. Again, this is just for this setup. You are free to do whatever you want. So here we just got our reversal candle. Now we are waiting for one confirmation candle in order to enter this trade.
One eternity later.
And finally, we get our entry. Now, people ask me, why use this over just setting your own order? And my answer is simple. You can just set your own order. However, depending on the break size you're using, these candles can easily print every few seconds. Using this tool allows me to not have to pay as much attention throughout the day. I can literally just toggle one button and trade how I normally would without being glued to a screen. I like to trade these bigger candles. They are very boring throughout the day, but having a semi-automated tool makes it way less stressful. But again, everyone is different. Everyone has their own preference. It is all good. So in hindsight, this is a classic example of just leave the trade alone. I almost always end up making the trade much worse when I decide to touch it. But the idea here was this little demand zone and a bunch of consolidation from the previous day. I was expecting some sort of resistance around this area, so I really just wanted to take a quick profit. So now that we hit our first target, I'm moving my stop to break even. Then I am setting the trail for the rest. This way I prevent this from coming back and turning into a loser. Now I get stopped at break even. Again, in hindsight, it would have gone down a bit more and I probably would have made a bit more for the day. But hindsight is always 20/20.
Do you have any idea what a curse it is to have perfect 20/20 hindsight?
I think I only ended up with like $57 from this trade. Not every day is going to be a home run, and that's just the reality of trading. But this video is not meant to show off some crazy gains or to sell some how to become a millionaire course. This is just showing a typical day for me and how I use the reversal predator. And it's just one of many ways to do it. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more actual trading videos, or if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them however I can. But that's it for this one. Take care, guys. Enjoy.